Hi, and welcome back to another Amazon selling video. We are still in our whole Q4 prep series, and only on this video, I'm super excited to announce that the Q4 BOLO group for 2025 is open today. You can join today. Again, it's limited to 200 sellers, so it's either when it sells out or when I decide to close it in a couple weeks. So it will eventually close probably the first week of September. So the space is limited and the time to join is limited. But definitely get on yoursellingguide.com/Q4 2025 to learn more and join today. I'm so excited. It's literally the most fun time of the year. It's also my most fun group that I have. All right, in this Q4 prep video, I'm going to be going over some common questions about selling on Amazon in Q4, things like what to be scanning right now, when to stop sending in certain things. I've got my FBM supply cart here, so I'm going to go over all the different FBM supplies that you'll want to consider. And I know last week I mentioned I needed to dig into my numbers, so here they are. Actually, Sellerboard makes it really easy to see your numbers. So here is why you're going to want to be doing FBM and FBA this Q4. So here is a look of my Q4 2024 sales from October to December. I'm not even counting September in this, which I did do a lot of in September, but just talking straight Q4, you can see for FBM, I sold 2,071 units, 63 refunds. My sales, gross sales was $100,706. Some of it was bundles, so you can see an ad spend there that I advertised my bundles. Cost of goods, gross profit, $27,000 profit from FBM, 27% margin, 67% ROI, versus FBA, which is nothing to shy away from. I sold more units FBM or FBA, 3,782, 89 refunds, 89,000 in sales. Advertised a little for that. Again, I send some bundles in FBA, so that was what that was for. Cost of goods. Then we've got the gross profit, $18,000 of FBA sales, 21% margin, and 49% ROI. So you can see my margin and ROI are lower. However, without that gross profit of doing FBA, I would have not had $18,000 of profit. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing FBM and FBA and make sure that you have the most inventory possible. So obviously FBA, we're sending it in right now. We're sending, stocking as much as you can all the way through the end of October. You can keep sending in shipments. I keep sending in shipments into November. December, I kind of stopped doing shipments, but that's a personal thing. You can obviously still. Toys sell year round, so please do not stop sending in toys because you think they won't sell. They sell year round, so you want to make sure you're still sending in shipments as much as you're physically able. Like, besides FBM, I really do take time off pretty much around the 15th of December for the rest of the year because I'm still doing FBM orders. They tend to slow down, so you're going to have orders all the way in through. Well, I'm getting into a little bit of the video, but you'll have orders all the way through like that week of Christmas, as long as you can get it to the customer in time. But other than that, I kind of like wind down and just relax and enjoy all the efforts of my hard work and let the sales come in. So right now my mix is I have a lot of FBM. I have way more FBA at the moment, and I'm just continuing to push inventory into FBA warehouses. And then October, November, it starts to switch where I'm just mostly doing FBM, and occasionally I might send an FBA shipment in, but really I'm just chasing down items and replenishing and FBMing them. So as I mentioned, the Q4 group is already open. It opened first to my BOLO group community and then to those early access members. So seats are already taken. So you definitely want to join, and you want to join as soon as possible before it sells out. Here's what the group is all about. So in this group, you're really not just getting leads. You're getting a mastermind of sellers who help you and it make your whole business more profitable by talking to other sellers who are like-minded and who get it. So you get real-time BOLOs of what's hot right now. So all Q4, we are going to be sharing things, and it changes really fast. What's selling right now is going to be different than what's selling next week, and there might be a new item that pops up on the shelf. Someone shares it. We're all going and hunting it down. there is a little bit of price tanking in Q4, but it's not as bad as the rest of the year because things sell so fast. So you definitely going to want to be FBMing and knowing what to FBM, and that is where the BOLO group comes in. Having those extra eyes and ears out to let you know what's going to make the most profit is so important. There was something that is in the Midwest, and it's only at a store in the Midwest, and I highly considered having my roommate ship me a bunch of it or just going up there to get it and driving back because it's that profitable. And again, I don't have that store near me, so I wouldn't even know about it without this group. So whether or not you want to travel or not, you're going to know and you're going to be able to look out for that item. So I looked out for that item at other stores near me, but I don't know if it was only at that one store or what, but they definitely had more of it. And the year before, that same store had a different BOLO that we all chased. So it's just knowing what to look for is so important. But of course, the group is not just BOLOs. It's so much more important than that. You get the community of sellers. And this year, we are going to be hanging out every week. So every Wednesday, we're going to be having a call where we're chatting about leads. I might be teaching on something, like if you want to start making bundles or creating your own listing or advertising, whatever it is, I will be talking about it and helping you out, as well as other sellers, because I don't know everything. And I learn a lot in these groups also, so I know you're going to as well. You'll be getting my FBM customer return templates, which are so important because it's literally a copy paste, and you will get a lot of messages when you're FBMing to make that money from your customers. So you want to have those easy templates. They are the same templates I use, copy paste, and they get the job done with little to no mental stress, because sometimes customers can get a little crazy. So having the template and ready to go, or having the group like, hey, this customer just said this, what do I do, is really helpful. You get my plan of action templates for IPs and counterfeits. If something should happen, you can have those plan of action templates. You get my Q4 guide to retail arbitrage for Amazon specifically, updated for 2025. Again, a part of the group. You get all 3 of my engaging guides. So we've got the premium guide, toys, topical, and OTC, as well as monthly BOLO giveaways. So every month there's a bonus that happens where if you share your regular BOLO, so you'll share a BOLO that's valid BOLO, so $150,000 in rank in any category or lower, makes $5 profit, 50% ROI. You can sell it. Amazon's not selling it. It's really pretty easy once you get the hang of it. If you've been in my groups before, it's the same as always. If you have not been in my groups before, if you are selling on Amazon already, or you're out there scanning and you're getting the hang of it, you definitely are welcome to join. There's always a few new sellers in the group, and it's really exciting seeing their almost instant success. Because of the time of the year, this is a great time of year to start selling on Amazon, and so things start selling faster, and so it just feels like you're getting the hang of it faster. And we're all there, of course, to help you along the way. There's going to be 2 holiday parties, so we'll have a Halloween party and a holiday party at the end of the group. And then again, I'm going to be walking through how to make bundles, listings, and all of that. So definitely consider joining. You're going to want that support. You're going to want those eyes and ears out there this Q4, and I am so excited. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, sourcing and scanning. What should you be scanning right now to prep for Q4? Literally anything and everything that you see that is seasonal as it comes up. And not only seasonal, I talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago in my sourcing video about Q4 specific sourcing. So you want to scan like the toy aisle as soon as you see something new in that toy aisle that you didn't see before. So you want to be in those toy aisles a lot. You want to make sure to scan it and see how it's selling. Again, in that video, I walked through all of this, but really quickly, I want to see like, what's the price right now? What's the rank right now? Does it look like Amazon's selling or sold out of it? So I use Keep It a lot, but you want to know what is new in the stores and get to scanning any of that seasonal stuff. If you are gated in specific toy brands, so if you're gated in Bluey, for example, I don't know, I'm just pulling this out of my head because I have stuffed over there. You might not be gated in the Bluey, comforters or sheet sets or curtains or school supplies, backpacks. Just because you're gated in the Bluey toys doesn't necessarily mean you're gated for all of it. So don't just scan toys and seasonal items. You still want your everyday staples. In fact, most of what I'm sending in to Amazon FBA is the everyday staples. So coffee, seasonal coffees, is regular coffees. seasonal drink mixes, seasonal soaps. Like there's all kinds of seasonal stuff, but they're still going to sell year round, and they're also everyday staples. So your toothpaste, your I'm trying to look around, lotions, things that are just going to sell anyways year round. People just are buying more. It's very much a spend money time of year, and so people are buying. So you want to have all kinds of products, not just one certain category or one seasonal item. I am impatiently waiting for the Halloween costumes to get into Walmart, and I saw that they are already kind of starting to put out Halloween. So when I go next week, I'm really hoping that there's going to be Halloween costumes already. I'm going to sit there and scan them. And yes, they take hours to scan. And if you're not going to do it, don't worry, I will, and I'll sell them. So it's worth the time to sit there and scan them. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But as soon as you see that stuff roll over, make sure you're out there scanning it. Okay, let's talk about your inventory and your budget. You are going to want as much inventory as possible. Every Q4, the first time sellers of Q4 are always saying they didn't have enough stock. Your stock, if you don't have enough money in stock, your stock will be gone by mid-November. And if you don't have money to replan and go buy more, or FBM, buy more than FBM it to kind of make that capital back faster, you're kind of stuck. So if at all possible, and this did happen to me my second Q4, I believe, I ran out of money and I was waiting for Amazon payout to be able to go source more. And when you're stuck in that hot time of the year when you don't have any money to go sourcing, it's really, really hard. So if at all possible, don't pull any money out of your business during Q4 if you don't need to. If you need it to pay your bills, then obviously pull it out and pay your bills. But if you can keep all that money in your store and just keep on snowballing it all through Q4, you'll have a big payout and big profit at the end of December, early January, that you can now go do something with. Have a goal in mind too. Like if you want to have a vacation after Q4 is over, or you want to plan a vacation for next year, have a little goal in mind of what you're kind of working for, because you will get super exhausted and annoyed and frustrated. There's going to be more people in the stores. There's going to be the customers messaging you. All kinds of people come out this time of year. And so you want to have a goal in mind, something to look forward to, and take that break if you need it. But having enough inventory, because if you don't, again, you're going to run out, and you need to have the money to keep doing it, because you never know what hot item is going to be a pallet at Walmart, and you need all that capital to go buy it and sell it all. You just never know. So make sure you have either, I do travel credit cards now, so I'm actually going to open a new credit card in the next month or so that I can get the sign-up bonus and get all those extra points that you get when you spend like $5,000 in 3 months. Easy, right? So you definitely want to have that. But again, credit cards, if you're not good with credit cards in real life, you're not going to be good with them in your business. So spend accordingly. Don't go crazy out of budget. I wouldn't go pulling out loans. Just whatever money you have and inventory you have, use it and keep rolling over that money. Also, if you physically cannot do something, or you don't have that capital, don't get stuck thinking you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, like you could be doing better. We can only do what we can do. So as you get into the October, November, like really kind of that Thanksgiving, the first 2 weeks of December are really the crazy times. So as you get into that, just remind yourself that whatever you're doing, whatever you're capable is enough. It might be that it's enough for you that day to spend time with your family and you just don't do anything with your business. It might be that it's enough that you sent out 5 orders that day and that's all you can do. Whatever it is that you can do, just remind yourself that that is enough. You are running a race with yourself, not against anyone else. Okay, so as far as Q4 sales ranks, what to look for. So I do go up higher in sales ranks, specifically in the toy category, because a lot of things, I always say everything sells with an asterisk. Not everything. I can't tell you everything you buy is going to sell, but most likely everything is going to sell, because like I said, things that maybe weren't selling the rest of the year will start to sell. That had a really high rank, they might take off now because I don't know, maybe it's a seasonal item and wasn't selling as much, but things will start to go off the shelf. So I do play around with those higher ranks. I still test buy everything. Even if I sold it last year, the year before that, I still am going to test buy because you never know. I used to sell this one hot brand for the first 4 years. It's still there. I still see it at Ross, but for whatever reason, it's just not selling on Amazon anymore. So if I went and cleared the shelf because I saw it again, I would be stuck with it. So I still test buy everything. I might test buy a little bit larger, like I know this sells, so I'm going to get 12 or 24, but I'm not clearing the shelf until I see that it's selling this year. So I do recommend playing in the higher ranks as you are comfortable. As far as other sellers and competition, I really don't care how many other sellers are on a product unless it's a higher ranked item. So if it's a hot selling toy, I don't really care that there's 200 sellers on it. I will look at what those, 50 sellers price are. So sorry, I just spit. Hopefully you didn't see that. But if there's 50 sellers and they're all $49.99, then that's fine. We're all going to rotate through the buy box based on where our stock is, where the buyer, all that whole buy box algorithm. But I'm not concerned that there's 200 sellers on it if it's a low rank and it looks like it's selling fast. Now, if it's a 500,000 rank in lawn and there's 50 sellers on it, probably not going to buy it because that's a pretty high rank and that is a smaller category and that's a lot of sellers. So I also consider how much profit it is, and again, test buy. Test everything and see if it sells quickly, go buy more of it. Go buy it as soon as you can after it sells. But I highly recommend test buying, and I don't care how many sellers on it, and that is a really common question I get, but it doesn't matter to me how many sellers. If it's a low rank, it's going to sell. If it's a high rank with a lot of sellers, then I will usually either not buy it or I'll test buy just 1 or 2. Now, the biggest upside to Q4 is obviously lots of stuff is selling. It's going to fly off the shelves. It's going to move. All that stuff you have, I'm looking at my dead piles back there, all that stuff that you have sitting on your shelves, it will start to move as long as you have it listed. So make sure you do have it listed. But the downside to Q4 is it's exhausting. You always feel like you're not doing enough. The FOMO is real. If you can't get out sourcing and you hear everyone in the group talking about this thing that they're going to source, it can be really bad FOMO, especially if you have a 9-to-5 that you're working and you're stuck at your desk. So the FOMO is real. The downside to FBM and just Q4 in general is customers. For whatever reason, it's both because you have more sales, right? This time of the year, you just have more sales, so you have more customers. But then you also have the cranky customers, or you'll get the spam or the sob stories where this really happens, where people will email asking you if they can have this thing for free. Here's a hot tip. If the buyer message does not have an order number, it is not your customer. They just saw you in the buy box and hit message to the seller. You do not have to respond to them. That goes for the weirdos who send you letters through messages also. But yeah, so if you doesn't matter what the sob story is, if it doesn't have an order number, it is not your customer. But dealing with customers is definitely one of the downsides to Q4. The returns that I get for FBM, most of them I was able to resell, or I was able to just take them back to whatever store I got it for and get my refund that way. So the returns are not bad at all. And having those FBM templates that come with the Q4 group is so helpful because literally, like I said, it's just copy paste. That's all I do, copy paste. Luckily, the upside of Q4, again, is all that profit potential that there is to make. Most sellers make most of their money during these 3 months. I know I make over half of my money for the whole year selling on Amazon in these 3 months. So it's why it's the best time of the year. It's the most fun time of the year, but it's also the craziest time of the year. Some other sourcing strategies for Q4. So definitely this isn't necessarily just Q4. You could do this year round, but get gift cards. Like have your company buy Starbucks gift cards, Domino gift cards, whatever, Chick-fil-A gift cards, whatever it is that your region likes or knows or whatever. Like we have Sonics all over here. Gross, but they're always busy. Get little gift cards that you can give out to your store employees, your store managers, so that they might tell you when that pallet of something you're looking for comes in, or they might remember you and point out some things that you didn't know. Maybe there's a hidden clearance at Walmart over here. All kinds of things that you can just help. The more you can have people out there helping you, calling you, telling you where the stuff is, the better it is. And obviously, because store workers, as well as you, are going to be having all kinds of angry customers coming at you, it's nice to have that one customer who is, a friend and nice, and who doesn't like giving? Well, I love giving gifts, but who doesn't like receiving gifts? So just consider that. Get to know your store managers, your store employees, stock people. If you see them all the time, just reach out, say hi, ask them a question, ask them about themselves, whatever. You know what you're doing. But just having the little gift cards or sending a pizza to the company, probably ask them first, but always a good idea, and then you will get that benefit back. Okay, so last thing is the FBA cutoffs and timelines. So honestly, any Halloween seasonal stuff, I would say to get in by the end of or the beginning of October, because with FBA shipments, Amazon, I don't think they've sent the email out yet, but they will send the email out that they will start to prioritize sending customers their products versus receiving our FBA shipments. Usually it happens in November. I think around the first part of November. So you want to get as much stock FBA as you can up through November. You can still send it in. They still will receive it. I've never actually noticed a big slowdown. In years past, there were specific fulfillment centers that would slow down. For the last couple of years, I haven't personally noticed anything, or maybe it's just where I'm sending it. But Amazon does have a breakdown for that Cyber Monday, Black Friday, so that week of Thanksgiving or weekend of Thanksgiving, that they want you to have all of your stock in. It is available. I'll link it to the Seller Central page below, but here is what it says. So for Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, you want to have all of your shipments in by October 20th if you do FBA minimal splits, and then October 30th if you do Amazon optimized splits. So that would be where they send it to more warehouses. So basically by the end of October, Amazon is saying it needs to be at the warehouse. So you got to back it up a week or two, depending on how fast your shipments get there. So let's say the 20th of October, you have to have all of your stuff on the way to the warehouses for that month later holiday. So Christmas stuff, I would stop sending that in probably mid-November, like that week before Thanksgiving at the very latest, because again, it's going to take some time. So that is why leads me into FBM. So I'm going to go over some of the supplies that I use and that I would recommend getting. I have all of my supplies. I get them all off of Amazon. And so I have a link to my Amazon storefront or whatever where you can just click and get the supplies that I'm going to talk about here. So this is a box resizer. So if you have a box with FBM, you want to use nice, clean, new boxes. I have heard of some sellers who use Amazon boxes, like if you got an Amazon shipment and you reuse it. I guess you can. I wouldn't recommend it because you're going to be taping over the tape, right? So I don't know. I don't think it looks nice and clean. I don't do it. It's your business. You can do what you want. But this is the holiday time frame, and so you want all of your products to look really nice and new and clean and good packaging, because they may be giving them as a gift. So you don't want it to be returned because your packaging, it leaked or it broke or it didn't get there in one piece. So a box resizer. Every inch counts. So if you're sending out a 10-inch box, but your item's only 5 inches, but for whatever reason, that's the only box you had, or you needed it for the length, width, whatever, you want to resize the box. So this is really easy. It just runs, perforates along the side of the box. Then you can easily cut it and fold it. It will look really nice and clean. So a box resizer is really good for FBA, but also for FBM, because you want those boxes to look nice and clean. Meltable. So thermal mailers, and I've talked about these before. They're little ice packs. You put these in water and then you freeze them overnight, and then you can separate them and use 1 or 2 or however many you need based off of how meltable your item is that you're shipping. Because even though it will be in Q4, it's still hot. It's hot everywhere, I swear. But anyways, you want to make sure your product is not melting, because especially if it's a food product, if it shows up melted, you're just going to be out that money, the shipping to the customer and the money you paid for the item. So you don't want it to get there melted, or you're just giving away money and having potentially bad seller feedback. Flat rate mailers. So the post office still has these. These are really handy because if you can fit it in this, even if it weighs a lot, you're going to pay that one flat rate. The mail rates are going to go up. The Amazon fees are going to go up. Everything's going to go up. So if you can save money by sending it a flat rate, do that. Now, when you're going to buy it, make sure you buy it for the correct one. So this is a padded one. They also have the flat one. I've used the flat one before too. If it fits in there, it fits in there. But they are different prices from the post office. So make sure you're buying the correct label. Otherwise, it's going to get sent back to you and not make it to the customer. Then you got to rebuy a label and it's a whole thing. So make sure, take advantage of these free supplies, but make sure you're buying the correct shipping. Okay, these black labels. So when you see the seasonal items at Walmart, it'll start in October, then it'll be the November if they have anything, and then Christmas stuff. It has the price all over the box. So I have one costume here as an example, but you see it has the price here. If you're sourcing costumes at Walmart, so I will put a black label over the price. Sometimes they'll be like 5 different places. But at Walmart, you have to open it up because there is also another hang tag in here with the price. I don't want to mess it up, but there it is. The other hang tag with the price. It's always in the armpit of the costume. So let me just rip this one off while I have it. You want to make sure you're covering all of those prices because if the customer paid $50 and they see it's only $22 at Walmart, it's probably going to get returned to you. You might get bad seller feedback, so you want to cover up those prices. Like I said, I just pull that hang tag off. Now, I don't cover up the prices with these black labels, again, from Amazon, and I will link, they're linked in my supplies. I don't cover up the prices for FBM stuff until it sells, just in case I have to return it to Walmart for some reason. But you could prep ahead of time if you wanted to. I have returned stuff to Walmart. I've actually seen stuff at Walmart with the sticker over, so another seller also returned it. But I like to wait and make my life harder the day I'm packing up the orders. But yeah. Then for liquids, there's these gripper tapes that you would just peel off. So my water bottle, for example, you would just put the sticker over to kind of seal it. I really only use these for FBM now, but you can use them for FBA also. But for FBM, since I'm in charge of shipping it to the customer, I want to make sure it gets there as good as possible. And I trust Amazon that I've prepped it the right way for FBA. So for FBM, I use those gripper tapes. Then we've got the other thing I wanted to cover about FBM specifically is I prep everything the same as if I was going to do an FBA. So this, I would poly bag because I can touch the bag. I live down dirt roads, so my boxes are always covered with dirt and the dirt gets inside the box as well. So you want to make sure it's getting to the customer. So this plush, which is why I had Bluey on the brain, I will poly bag it and then I'm going to throw it in one of these poly mailers. They're lightweight. They can fit, I use it for plush. I use it for clothing. I use it for bras. I use it for anything that is not going to get damaged in shipping, but I would definitely poly bag this and then stick it in the poly mailer because I want to make sure it gets to the customer in the correct condition. So this item specifically, after I poly bag it, it's not really going to get broken, so I would be comfortable sending it in a padded mailer. Same thing with this toy. I don't need to poly bag it because it's already fully sealed. Unless it felt like it was coming apart, which some of my toys do. This one's sealed really nicely though. I will literally just put it in a poly mailer and off it goes to the customer. As long as it's not going to get damaged. If it's going to get damaged, then I box stuff. So any beauty items, I box. Anything that's more fragile, I box. Obviously, boxes cost money, so you want to make sure that you are taking that into account. The free UPS boxes are kind of no more. So UPS started shutting it down for everyone. If you can still order them, get some while you can. Yeah. So I have what I ordered earlier this year, and I got to call them and figure out if they will let me order. But I'm using these free boxes. Again, these are on my website. I have photos of this. But it's super easy box, anything that fits in it. So this free box, off it goes. So this might actually be, depending on what it weighs when I go to ship it, it might be better than a padded mailer. And then I have a ton, I'll just insert a photo here of my U-line cart with all my boxes on it. But I have a ton of, like, this is a 4x4x4 box. I have 4x4x6. I have 4x4x8. I have 4x4x10. I have 4x4x12. That's mostly for my beauty stuff. Then I've got like 9x6x4. I've got so many boxes. Basically, if I start to FBM something, I will measure it and then I will order some boxes for it. And then I'm continuing to order more boxes as I had some bundles that really took off last year. And so I had to keep the boxes coming because at one point I ran out of boxes and then I was having to use a different size box. And then again, every inch counts for the shipping costs. I don't know if I finished saying that earlier. If you send a 10x10x10 box, but it would have fit in a 5x5x5, you're going to be having very different shipping costs. So you want it to be as tight a fit as you can to save on shipping. Whether both padded envelopes will work. The craft ones I feel like are more sturdy, but as it gets into rainy weather, maybe these ones are better. I use both. I think it's fine. I think most carriers don't leave stuff out in the rain. I guess that was all my supplies. Definitely, FBM can be intimidating, but it is so important. As I said, here it is again, why it's so important. I did more gross sales, more profit FBM than I did FBA. Okay, as I mentioned, that Q4 group is open and already selling, and it's selling fast, so definitely consider joining it. If this is your first year or if you're coming back to hang out with me again, I'm so honored to hang out with you. I love this group. It's going to be so much fun. And our first live hangout is going to be September 3rd. That's a Wednesday. So I hope to see you there. And until next week, happy sourcing.